Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Wednesday, May 21, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, elderly man dies after being run over by horse in Belize City. Mother claims child was almost hit by stray bullet in Belize City. And Belize City Council assesses flood-prone areas ahead of hurricane season. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
Prepare for the heat.
for laws that protect all of us and reflect our society at its best. Equal Opportunities Bill. Belize, we're ready.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. An elderly man was killed on Friday evening after he was knocked down by a horse on Vernon Street in Belize City. The man has been identified as 75-year-old Gilbert Carr. Reports are that Carr was walking on the street near Cox Tire Shop when the incident happened. He was rushed to the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital for treatment, but succumbed to his injuries on Monday. A Belize City mother posted on Facebook today, shortly after midday, that her young daughter had to run to escape harm after gunshots were heard in the area. The child was on her lunch break and walking in the Port Loyola area. The mother condemned the act, committed brazenly in broad daylight, stressing that it puts school children in harm's way as they are out for their lunch break. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. The shooting occurred in the area of the intersection of Central American Boulevard and Faubourg Road. Reports are that two young men were walking in the area near the Muslim Community Primary School when they came under fire after a man riding on a bicycle fired shots in their direction. It caused many in the area, including several school children, to rush to seek safety. Authorities are investigating a house fire in Belize City, which occurred on Tuesday afternoon. In the blaze, a 10 feet by 7 feet wooden structure was damaged. Reports are that 40-year-old Leon York was at work when he was informed of the fire at his residence on Moya Street. Fire personnel were called and were able to extinguish the blaze. The estimated cost of damages to the home is $4,000. The home was not insured. This morning across the city, the Belize City Council and its Works and Sanitation team, along with the City Emergency Management Organization, CMO, kicked off their flood mitigation campaign. The flood-prone areas of the city were assessed and cleaned up where possible. Mayor Bernard Wagner spoke more on the initiative.
It's about identifying some of the 6 key flood-prone areas in the city and giving an added extra hand towards the work that has already been going on for a number of months. At as you know, our CMO team, our sanitation, our maintenance, and our works team have always been on the ground working to ensure that we prepare for the rainy season. And so today is just an added effort, putting on more hands on deck. We are able to have our councillors with us on the ground, working on the ground. We have our youth shadow councillors with us. We have the works team, we have sanitation team, we have maintenance team, we have public health along with us. We'll be working very closely with our youth shadow councillors as part of the effort of really emphasizing the importance of neighbors and the community to be a part, not just be a spectator, but be a part of your community, cleaning up the front of your yard, getting your drains clean in front of your yard, and so that it's all a collaborative effort within all of those departments.
If your teams are on the ground on a daily basis, why is it being done in this manner today?
Well, what we normally have prior to the rainy season is a symposium, and so I told my CMO liaison officer Melanie, let's do something out of the box this year. Instead of going in a conference room and sitting out and having a CMO symposium, let's go on the ground, get our hands dirty, right, and really put in the work for the people. This is what we call community. This is community at its best. Those drains again require continuous maintenance because they are highly trafficked areas, and when they are highly trafficked, people tend to just throw debris along. Well, you tend to not notice that all of a sudden there's a build-up of sludge because water is constantly pouring, and so some of them are earthen drains, and so those earthen drains normally would get crowded up with sludge quickly, right? So it is important for us to really reshape those drains, clean them out, and make sure that they are flowing, that when water starts to go in those drains, that they are able to flow. We have a very minimal runoff slope in Belize City, and so it requires a lot of maintenance.
Mayor Wagner spoke of the collaboration with CEMO and NEMO and spoke more about tackling the drainage issue.
They have done a lot of training. They have been able to do what you call shelter inspection. They have worked very closely with NEMO. I can say outrightly that this is the best relationship we have had with NEMO as a group, because the structure, the organizational structure of NEMO has really been put in place by the new leadership, and so we feel that with the coordinated efforts of both NEMO and CEMO here in the city, we want to be prepared. We want to ensure that all our drains are cleared of debris. They are connected, they are reshaped, they are connected to the canal, they are flowing to the canal is flowing to the river to the sea. We know that we have an issue at the Dean Street area, we know we have an issue at Berkeley Street and East College Canal. Those areas are focus areas. We know we have issues in Queen Street, we have some little issues by the gas station on Freetown Road. Those are key areas. We have the sludge trucks with us today, 2 sludge trucks, which are able to really get in those drains and suck out all the sludge, all the debris in those areas. So we believe that this effort this morning and throughout the course of the day and throughout the remaining days leading up to the rainy season, our city, along with the pumping station, that huge investment that we did, will ensure that we could never completely do away with flooding. We are close to below sea level. We'll never be able to do it, but at least our efforts can mitigate the impact.
Belize City Councillor Kaya Katus explained that the planning for this initiative began in December.
So as you know, the hurricane season is June to November. And every year in December, the sanitation and maintenance teams at the Belize City Council start our preparation for the upcoming year. So we're underground digging drains. The main issue in Belize City is that we are, for the most part, below or right at sea level. So when it rains, it will definitely flood. So our job here is to ensure that the water subsides as soon as the rain stops.
Is it your view that you all will be able to meet the demands of every single neighborhood? Just being out here, I'm hearing different individuals say, well, my community, the drains are also in desperate need of some cleanup.
Definitely. Like I said, this didn't start today. We started from in December, and we've been touching areas of the entire city. Coming out today is just the council showing the city that, you know, we are doing the work, and we are, as councillors, as mayor, as employees of the Belize City Council, we are committed to ensuring that, especially during the hurricane season, the residents of this city are comfortable.
Speaking of the upcoming hurricane season, what is the situation with the hurricane shelters in the city, and are they ready for the start of the hurricane season? Mayor Bernard Wagner today told reporters that it's a matter under the jurisdiction of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO.
Again, that is coordinated with NEMO. NEMO identify the shelters. We essentially just go along with them in terms of knowing in what capacity they are in. Are they available? Do they need repairs? They need repairs, we assist with that. But in terms of identifying and really selecting shelters, that is up to NEMO.
After the break, Ministry of Agriculture receives equipment donation to benefit small farmers. We'll be back.
Hi there. Are you on your phone right now?
28 Freetown, donde estás mejor vivo que muerto. Farmacia Freetown, teléfono 22 32 87 6.
The Friends for Conservation and Development, FCD, recently met with the Prime Minister, Honorable John Briceño, and with Minister of Sustainable Development, Honorable Orlando Habet, to discuss issues the FCD is having with protecting the Chickabul National Park, which the FCD co-manages. The FCD cites issues with illegal logging, wildlife trafficking, and encroachments. Earlier this week, Honorable Habet spoke of the meeting and the need to assist with helping to protect the Chickabul.
Yes, we had a meeting with FCD and the Prime Minister. We're looking at how the management effectiveness of the protected areas, the Chickabul National Park, can be improved, and how collaboration can ensue between the concessionaire for the Chickabul Reserve and the national park. So you have a long-term sustainable logging concession in the reserve, and in the national park you have the protected areas, which is the co-management done by FCD.
Complaints persist with regards to the Belmopan transfer station just outside of the capital along the Hummingbird Highway. Minister of Sustainable Development, Honorable Orlando Habet, was asked about the issue. He explained what could be causing the issue.
What is happening is that we are seeing that there is an apparent lack of, maybe I would say, infrastructure or equipment from the people who have the contracts to move the solid waste from the transfer station to the national landfill. These can be for several reasons. I think we have said some of these before, that I believe personally, and looking at what is the information that we are getting at the landfill, because when they go in with their trucks, they weigh them, and it is showing that a lot more solid waste is being taken from the transfer stations to the national landfills than what they, some years ago, had contracted out for. So the monies are really not sufficient to move all the garbage. So two things. One, maybe they're not getting sufficient funding for doing it. And two, I also think that if they don't have the proper equipment, then they won't be able to move the garbage sufficiently or appropriately, because they are supposed to be paid on weight and not on volume. So if you don't have the compacting truck to really compact it and take the amount, you'll be doing 2 trips instead of 1, so that's very costly. But thirdly, and I think that Prime Minister has mentioned on several occasions, Belize is doing better economically. So we have people that are all that are employed, a very small percentage of people that are unemployed. I think people are becoming more affluent, so we are consuming more, so there is more waste. And so more waste is being taken to the transfer stations, which possibly are not within the scope of the contracts that were done some years ago.
So far this year, despite warmer temperatures lately, Belize has not experienced as many forest fires when compared to last year. Earlier this week, Minister of Sustainable Development, Honorable Orlando Habet, spoke about the matter. Honorable Habet gave some reason as to why we have been more fortunate this year so far.
I believe that, one, we are better prepared. We learned some of our lessons. Last year's wildfire was particular because, remember, the year before we had the hurricane, and when the hurricane passed through, it broke up a lot of the trees and limbs within the forest reserves and the natural reserves. And so we saw those broadleaf forests that were broken up, and so we knew that a year later that would serve as fuel for wildfires, and that's exactly what happened. But also, we've been doing a better job through the Forest Department to control those fires that would possibly happen. In the Pine Ridge, for example, we started earlier. We're doing cool burns. As a matter of fact, up to last week, we're still doing some burns in the Pine Ridge area. The Ministry of Agriculture has also been keen in trying to control the amount of permits that have been issued for agriculture burns. So that has all contributed. I think also that we also had a lot of rainfall up to the end of February this year. So there was still a bit of moisture underground beneath the canopy. So that has also helped to where we can see less fires this year.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Food Security and Enterprise received essential equipment from the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IICA, in an effort to increase agricultural resilience and productivity. The equipment will be given to small-scale farmers across the country. CEO Servulo Baeza accepted the donation, which will help small farmers with important tasks, including irrigation, disease and pest control, and the transfer of agricultural technology. The handing over comes after IICA held a number of workshops centered on current technologies and best farming techniques to increase crop yields and sustainability in the agriculture industry. After the break, Keycocker Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athlete shining on national stage. Stay tuned.
Imagine getting rewards for
right at your fingertips. Create your account today.
On Tuesday, Tropic Air held a special luncheon to honor its heroes and all the passengers who were aboard the hijacked flight on Holy Thursday. The company also announced 3 initiatives to honor their heroes and keep the memory of their bravery alive. The company announced the creation of the Howell Grange Aviation Scholarship, which is a Bachelor of Aviation scholarship, the Fitzgerald Brown Grant, which will support under 15 and under 17 football teams on Burgers Key, and the Francesco Jair Castaneda Heart and Home Grant, which is a partnership with Hand in Hand Ministries and will be used to give back to the community. Captain Howell Grange also received the first ever Accountable Managers Award, which served to recognize his leadership and bravery during the ordeal. An occupational and physical therapy open house will be hosted by the Belmopan Church of the Nazarene on Thursday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. A team of medical professionals from Marquette University in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA, will be providing free sessions, including free medication. Professor Brian Zamzo shared additional information.
So today we're doing assessments and evaluations for people that have physical disabilities or those for educational services for caregivers with those with the disabilities, and providing education, exercises, whatever we have, and we brought a binder to give out to people so that they have these services and something to refer back to later.
So what would be some of the advice that you would give people if they're taking care of someone with a disability?
Protect yourself. Body mechanics is a very big part of making sure you're safe, and if you're safe, you're also providing safe transfers for your family members. So making sure that you're providing yourself with a good body mechanic, getting close, lifting with power so that you can get them safely to where they need to go. So protect yourselves. Yeah.
What are some of the disabilities that you guys have seen so far, and what's been some of the maybe advice that you've given them on how to maybe alleviate some of that pain or live with it?
Yeah. So far we've seen a slew of diagnoses and people with different things going on, including stroke, maybe some chronic pain, posture-related issues, and these are things that we've done just a couple of times already today, this morning, and people have walked out feeling better, maybe not pain-free, but on their way and feeling a lot better. So in those cases of chronic pain, providing reasons why they might be having some stuff that might be kind of exacerbating their symptoms, and then with stroke, trying to protect joints and make sure that their recovery is at least going a little bit smoother, not going any worse.
The literary arts will be showcased during the Festival of Arts after a 20-year hiatus. The Institute of Creative Arts, ICA, partnered with the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology to release a creative writing compilation book titled A Book of Stories and Poems. The book features submissions from 17 primary and secondary schools from across the country. ICA Director Kim Vasquez shared more about the showcase and accompanying book.
Well, this is the commencement since yesterday of the primary school section of the National Festival of Arts, and today is day 2 for Belize District Festival of Arts. But as you said, we have quite a lot happening. After more than 2 decades, we have the return of the literary arts to the National Festival of Arts. Starting from last year, we made this known that we were determined to have poetry and short stories writing return as a strategic objective to the National Festival of Arts. And so we are so pleased to realize this goal today here with 44 students from across the country, both at the primary and secondary level. They submitted their short stories, their poetry, and we have published them into a book, and we hope that this will become an annual fixture, as it rightfully should be, in the National Festival of Arts. And also today we have the launch of the visual art upstairs in the Belial Gallery. And again, this is a part of us growing the National Festival of Arts, coming out of COVID when it had gone dormant. And we are so pleased to see again the visual art growing this year with over 80 pieces of art upstairs from across the country, from preschool right up to secondary. We receive entries for the visual art, and that is also on display here at the Bliss this week as well.
Tell us about this publication, the different stories and poems that are included. What exactly were you guys looking for, and how many of them were selected to be published?
We decided in this first year that we wanted to really motivate and come out with a force with the creative writing publication. So we did not set any themes, any genres. We left it up to the young writers, and we were so delighted to see the variations in genres: science fiction, horror, and of course many of them did share personal reflections, things that expressed a lot of human emotion, even for such young writers. And of course, a number of them also paid tribute to our cultural heritage, to the history, to the beauty of Belize. And it really just was a mix. And as I said, this is both primary and secondary students. And the participation was really good. It was excellent. And we really have to commend the teachers and the schools and even the parents who I think were behind them to get this done.
2 students from Belmopan Methodist School spoke of their submissions.
So what I entered was a story originated from when I was in Standard 4. I chose this one because, well, likely it fit the team a little bit better. Plus, I think I liked this one from Standard 4 was because it was really imaginative. It was about this turtle and this girl Samantha. She went on like this trip to Hawaii to visit her grandparents' resort, and she met this guy, Mr. Miller. He was really bad. He wanted to get this magical egg because he wanted to conduct researches on it. And well, Samantha, she did some research on it because she found the egg, and she was the chosen one. So she didn't allow Mr. Miller to get his hands on the egg. So that was my entry. The reason I picked it was because it's really imaginative.
My entry was a poem. It's based on like what a lot of young girls go through, like bullying and young pregnancies, like teenage pregnancies and stuff, and that they lost themselves in all of this world, that they can't remember how they were joyful when they were little.
And in December, we introduced you to a rising star in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Belize, Joshua Blanco. He is the co-founder of Belize Dark Arts Academy in Belize City, which is a joint effort with the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat Belize. And he is also the founder of Dark Water Jiu-Jitsu in Key Caulker. Today, Blanco gave us an update on recent competitions both gyms have competed in. Blanco said the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is a healthy way for youth to channel their energy and keep them engaged in a healthy activity.
Recently, we had Pro FC, not the recent one that came by. There was one in the past where I went against Jalen Perez. Shout out to Jalen. We see him working internationally, and of course we love seeing our athletes going internationally and getting the support from the country. We did a grappling event. Of course, I had managed to come out on top for that one against Jalen Perez. He's a very good grappler. From there, we also had Chris Bonfoco having the Belize Championships or Belize Jiu-Jitsu Championships. My team from Key Caulker actually went out. We got some golds, we got some silvers, and we got some bronze. It's just to emphasize that the sport of Jiu-Jitsu is growing, especially during this time where we can see that children need a positive outlet during these times. We are trying to push the agenda where people need this discipline, people need this support, and it's a safe community that it's not too dangerous. You're not punching people in the face. It's much more close, learning in a controlled environment, and just trying to make sure people understand that this is here. this is the sport we're trying to advertise now out at Keycocker.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on this station later tonight at 9 and again Thursday at midday. Join us again Thursday at 6 p.m. for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.